But I had to swing past Dunkin'. How I come from working out, and the first thing I do is get an iced coffee and a donut. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling. Let's go. Fresh out the salon.
Let's go. Let's go. Girl. You up real quick. We just got back from running a few errands. We went and grabbed dinner for tonight. Come take a look. It looks so good, don't it? I can't even have it. You know, or maybe you don't know. I don't know if I've told you this or not, but I don't eat cheese. I know. It's crazy, I know. I don't eat cheese. Every time I tell somebody I don't eat cheese, they're shocked to hear it. But yeah, man, I stopped eating cheese probably 5 years ago. I was diagnosed with endometriosis, and if you're not familiar with that, it's just something to do with a female intestine, you know, type of thing or whatever. The uterus, or the uterine wall, rather. So yeah, long story short, basically I don't eat that because when I do have dairy, specifically cheese, it flares up my endometriosis. And you know, I'm not a doctor or whatever, but basically Google it and you'll see all the information about it. But yeah, it goes undiagnosed. So a lot of times you think you're having a very painful period, but it is actually endometriosis. So, and it definitely contributes to infertility. And just a plethora of things. Dairy, if you do your research, it is not known to be good for African American women. A lot of times dairy gets stuck in your uterus and your intestines, and it takes a very long time to kind of like pass through. So during that time, it just really like irritates your stomach, and it also affects your weight, your skin, all types of stuff. So people always ask me, how do you lose weight, or how you maintain your size, especially after having twins? That's one of them. I got this for hubby. He actually asked for 4 slices. So this is hubby's plate. And then what did I get to eat? I know. I feel like I'm always at Chick-fil-A. So I got what I always get, which is their kale salad. Love their kale salad. It's so good. And then I top it with some chicken nuggets. And then I got a side of fries. So, go downstairs and have a little movie night. What is it, 6:30? And then 7:30 the girls will go to sleep. And then it's mommy and daddy time. All right? I don't know when I will talk to you again in the vlog. Probably tomorrow. So, all right, see ya. Oh, wait, let me show you the plates. So, my plate, his plate. My plate, his plate. It's just not fair, is it? Market, getting a few things. If it's one thing we're gonna do, is go grocery shopping, child. You gonna get some corn? One of these. Okay. I think I want the donut. Okay, that's it.
I'm making it cool.
You didn't see our s'mores cookies? Hey, pretty girl. Hey, pretty girl. Thank you. Say thank you. So I'm just getting ready for church. And it dawned on me that I hadn't fully finished or even started, or I hadn't basically told you my Barbados IVF story. So this is a perfect time. I figured while I'm getting dressed, got my tater tots, my water. Let's get to chatting. Because as usual, you know I don't have that much time. A few vlogs back, I mentioned how we had the girls via IVF at an IVF clinic in Barbados. In Barbados, right? Mind you, before we decided to do this in Barbados, we had already did 3 rounds. Yeah. So we did the first 3 rounds here in the US at Shady Grove. Okay. Now, I'm just speaking on my experience. I mean, obviously, right? But my experiences here with IVF, you know, it was fine. I didn't have anything to compare it with. So, you know, I'm not trying to say that they didn't do anything correct here or, you know, anything like that. All I'm saying is my experiences here, it didn't work. You know, we did it 3 times, it didn't work. Not only did it not work, but I would say at least 1 of the 3 times, what is it called? The embryo transfer procedure was very uncomfortable. Like, it was painful. You know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, any of that. But, you know, you just know, like, you know how you have a feeling. You know, you just know how when you're somewhere and you're supposed to be there, you get a feeling of peace that just overcomes you. And when I was there, I don't know, I just didn't feel that. I didn't feel that, right? But whatever, you know, we went to 3 rounds, it didn't work. I think one of the rounds did. I mean, bear with me while I tell this story because it feels like it was forever ago. I mean, we had been trying to get pregnant for years upon years, and I done, in addition to doing 3 IVF cycles, I also had to have fertility surgeries. So I feel like I might have had like 3 surgeries, because I have endometriosis. So all of that played a big part. I'll just say that it played a big part. So, you know, you're trying to have a baby, you go to your gynecologist and they check you out and then they tell you you have X, Y, and Z you need to fix in order to get pregnant. So, you know, we did that. I had the surgeries, had X, Y, and Z fixed. You know, I had endometriosis. So they had to do whatever surgery, where it's less invasive. But then that didn't work. So then they had to do the more invasive procedure. And that didn't work. I had scar tissue left over from those procedures. So then I had to have an additional surgery to remove the scar tissue, and that didn't work. And then I got an infection from one of my surgeries, and I was in a hospital. I mean, it was so much to this story, like so much. It was a long, grueling, exhausting IVF journey. You know, you hear all the stories, you hear all the, so basically I can't really detail for you because I tried to like partly erase it and then partly it's just so much that went into it. Now that I'm over it, it's just, I don't even want to barely think about it, if that kind of makes sense. But some of it I've erased from my mind. James honestly is better at it. Like when we go to, you know how you go to the doctors, every doctor's visit you have, you know how they always want you to recall all of your other procedures and all your stuff. And every time I would go to the doctors, you know, for whatever, it could be just for my regular annual visit, they would always make you go down and list all of the stuff that you had, which I never understood why. Because it's like, it's there in my chart. Like you read it, you know everything that I've had done. So it's like, why do I have to relive for you everything that I had done? But basically every doctor's visit, I had to go over how many miscarriages I've had, how many surgeries I've had, how many procedures and why, and then you have to hear their response to it all. Ugh. But here I am today, right? So anyway, long story short, my experiences just weren't the best here in the US at Shady Grove. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't like something crazy happened to me, but you know, it just, I would say bedside manner plays a big part for me. You know, I like physicians who have a really good bedside manner and, this is just an emotional roller coaster experience. And you just want, if possible, you want your experience to be the most peaceful, loving, stress-free experience you can have. If, you just want it to be that way, if you can. So, and mind you, I was also working. So I was going through IVF, doing the shots and the medicine and all the doctor visits, because there's like 1 million doctor's visits and just all of that. And I was also working, and you're just trying to plan your schedule around it. And it was just a lot. It was a lot for me. It was just a lot. Very stressful. So that plays a big part, in my opinion, on the results of all of it. And I'm not saying all of it was stressful. It was just a lot. It was just a lot. So years go by, a few years goes by, and I'm on YouTube following one of my favorite YouTubers. Her name is Wanda. And I'll link her below if I can, or I'll put her name right here somewhere. But she has a more detailed, I feel like she tells it better. But basically, I was watching one of her videos, and she's the one that told me about this clinic in Barbados. So, I'm reading her stuff, and I'm watching the video, and I'm like, oh, wow. So she documented her whole experience in Barbados, where she stayed, all of it, like all of it. She documented it. So she had tons of videos on it, and me, actually by myself, I watched it. And I don't know how much time went by after watching it, but some time went by. I didn't even mention it to James because I just didn't think that he would ever even agree, just the thought of having such this type of procedure, especially for me. I've never had surgery. I've never gone out of the country to have anything like this done. So it was like, a big deal. It was just like, so I just never thought, I don't know, I just never mentioned it to him. I never thought that he would even be open to doing it. So some time had passed, and I don't remember why or how, but the subject came up. Maybe we were talking about YouTube channels or YouTube people, because I also follow her on Instagram. So maybe we were talking about it there. But long story short, it came up, and I was talking to him about it. And lo and behold, he was down. And that's how you know when something is for you and meant for you, especially if you're like real, like locked in and plugged into the Holy Spirit. Because when something is from God, and a message or a person or whatever the case may be, when you experience it, when it all comes together, it comes together so perfectly, so easily, so peacefully. That's how you know you're in line with God's will for your life. Okay. So I never thought James would be down. Never thought he would be open to doing anything like this. So I don't know, somehow or another it came up in subject, conversation. And not only was he down, but he was excited. He was excited. So we were like, okay, so we did our research on the facility. We did our research. I watched her videos, but I want to do, obviously you want to do another extensive research. So I read the reviews, did a ton of research on it, right? All of it aligned so perfectly, and it happened so quickly. So we did our research, and then we was like, oh, okay, we looked at the price, right? Because this is out of the country, so you cannot use your health insurance. So all of my other in vitro sessions was paid for, majority anyway, was paid for through my health insurance. That's something else. Sometimes people don't realize that your health insurance plan will help pay for any fertility issues you may be experiencing. And not just you, but your husband too. So look into your healthcare plan. Because I was talking about this in passing to like one of the bank clerks. Huh? I'm not putting on. Nothing, just change them and bring them downstairs and get them some ties. And I'll be down. let me hurry up. And this might have to be a two-part because I don't want to miss anything. The way Wanda and her YouTube story helped me, I want to be a blessing to other people. And even if it's just one person, I mean, that means my job is done. But basically, I don't want to rush this. It's kind of a long story, but I'm running late for church. But yeah, long story short, where did I leave off? I could not find my eyebrow brush. And my pencil broke. Normally the brush comes on the end of this, but it broke. So I'm using this, my eyelash. I got a ton of these. So I just use this to brush my brows up real quick. But yeah. So everything just aligned perfectly. But basically, we looked online to see how much it cost. And it was very expensive. And we knew that our insurance wasn't going to pay for it. And we were like, okay, well, we can't afford this. And somehow the money became available. And I'm not even lying. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not. That's what I'm telling. Like, when I tell you membership has its benefits, that's what I mean. I used to hear testimonies about this when I was a kid. And I would be like, okay, yeah, okay. It's nothing like experiencing it for yourself. When God has something for you, He will provide the funds. He will provide the facility. He will provide everything that you need to accomplish what He wants you to accomplish. So we couldn't afford it, but somehow, and I'm telling you, it was like a matter of, I want to say like 3 months maybe, from watching the video, well, at least from talking, I'll say definitely from talking to James about it to when the flight was booked and we were on the flight to go. I want to say it was maybe 3-4 months tops. Because we were getting ready to gear up for a 4th IVF session here in the U.S. at Shady Grove again. We were just going to do it again. And God told me not to. God told me to go to Barbados. And that's what we did. And it worked. And not only did it work, but He gave me 2. He gave me 2 for the trouble. He gave me 2 girls for all the tears, for all the time, for all the surgeries, for all the pain, for all the, just the, you know, He gave me more than I asked for. My cup overflowed. So, yeah. Let me stop rambling. Let me focus. There's more to the story. My next part, I will talk to you about my experience in Barbados. Now, I have a YouTube vlog. I'll link it below. I posted it, 2 years ago. I have a vlog of our time there in Barbados, but I didn't talk about why we were there, like that we were there for in vitro. I don't know, part of it was because it's not just my story, it's also my husband's story. So, you have to make sure, I had to make sure he was comfortable with it. And it just takes time. It takes time for God to prepare you to share His message, I think. And it just took us time. And this is the time. And now I'm here. So, yeah, so I have a vlog. So, we were there for 2 weeks because the whole thing took 2 weeks. We had so much fun on this trip. Excursions, we did a lot of stuff. It wasn't just medical, shots and procedures and stuff. We also had a lot of fun. Oh, man. And I think that actually played a big part with the embryo attaching to the uterine wall. Because I was just at peace. I was in paradise. And then the food, it was just all organic, straight from the ocean, I also had, what is it called? I had acupuncture procedure after my embryo transfer, and I didn't do that here in the U.S. So it was like they did the transfer, then I walked up the stairs, got the acupuncture done, and then I left. Yeah, I think afterwards I left and went home. Well, not home, but I went back to our hotel. Yeah, so my next vlog, I will be giving you part 2 of this story. Thank you for your support. I know I said this before, but thank you guys for your support. You have no idea what it means to me. Sometimes I get in my head and I think, oh, you know, nobody cares, you know. I'm not doing, you know, nobody wants to see me do this. You know, what am I doing? I'm just doing everyday life. But there are also little gems that I try to drop in the midst of my everyday life. And it's nothing but the trick of the enemy to try to make me think that people don't care. People care. Obviously, people care. I see the views. And I'm just so thankful. And, you know, you guys are what? Your views, your comments, you're what keeps, you know, helps keep me motivated and going. So I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. I really do. Because it's like, especially the, you know, people who don't know me personally, it's like the people who know me personally, they do support me. But you know how it is. Like, another story for another day. But I really appreciate you guys watching, taking the time out of your busy day. And I just pray to be a little light, a little bit of sunshine in the midst of your day, just how other YouTubers are for me. And I'm just, you know, trying to be honest, keeping it real here on the tube of my life and what I do and what I go through. So as we get ready for church, or as I finish getting ready for church, I still got to get the girls. James got them up. And I think he's getting them dressed, but I have to do their hair, of course. And that's it. And then hop in the car, child. So, where's my brush? If you can see that, that's the name. These are so cute. These are dupes. I don't know. I don't remember for what. I can't remember. I don't want to say Christian Dior dupes. They're dupes for something. Fashion girlies, comment below. What are these dupes for? But how cute are these? These are so cute. Amazon. I will link these in the description box below. I mentioned it on my Instagram, but I'm not sure if I mentioned it here. I'm an Amazon affiliate. Yeah, so whenever you see me post something, you know, like a link to something, if you like it, you know, no pressure. I don't want you buying stuff that you don't like, y'all. But if you like something, when I post a link, shop my link and I get commission. And your girl needs all the commission she can get. You know, it helps me, you know, do little stuff. It's not a lot, but every little bit counts. So it's my coffee runs. It's my Chick-fil-A kale salad and chicken nuggets. You know, it's all the little things. So I appreciate it. But these are so cute. Maybe, you know what? I have so many Amazon jewelry dupes. It's not even funny. I actually need to make a video just on that. Comment below if you want me to make a video on all of my Amazon jewelry, like designer dupes. I will, and I will link everything. I just don't have time. Like, it's just, but yeah, I will do that. Comment below if you're interested in stuff like that. Okay, but yeah, these are so cute. I love them. Love them. Okay, ta-da. Some of this on. See, I be forgetting steps. Messing around with y'all. You got me out here forgetting the bank. Can't have me out here in these streets. Go. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You gotta stay stand back and say it. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh.